Hello all! Today I'm going to stream using the Project Volterra. What's Project Volterra? Volterra is a machine made by Microsoft for developers. It's the first official machine from Microsoft that includes an Qualcomm processor, that's the ARM architecture instead of the Intel architecture using an Intel or an AMD processor. It's not the first machine that Microsoft sells for the users that like the Surface laptops, they've been already a few generations, but this one is targeted specifically for developers and is a desktop. In certain senses, it's designed as the Surface because it contains the same motherboard as the last Surface that was launched. I don't remember the number. I think it was Surface 9 or something like that. Well, anyway, this string is going to be just pouring out for the first time. So most probably will be a very long string and very boring with updates and installation and so on. I will condense the best parts of this stream into a YouTube video where I will also show the machine itself as well as the internals of the machine, because I'm thinking I really love to open it, even if most people on YouTube have already opened it. I have received it from Germany from a friend because this machine is not for sale in Spain. So this friend bought it for me and shipped it to me. It cost me with shippings 750 euros. It's not so expensive. I mean, the Mac Mini is a 1,000 euros with more or less the same configuration, 32 gigabytes of RAM, half a terabyte of SSD. But we'll see how it behaves. I will install Visual Studio, JetBrains, compile some applications, some of them mine. I will measure the time it takes to compile the application. I will also open a browser benchmark and some GPU benchmarks, not for any particular reason, just because I wanted to compare with my own machines, because as I say, other videos on YouTube and other places you can see people testing games, and that's mostly the problem. This is not a consumer product. This is not a product designed for consumers. It's not optimized for games. It's not optimized for daily use. It's optimized for the daily use of developers. It's optimized for using Visual Studio Code, JetBrains, whatever your IDE, for coding applications and testing applications that target the ARM architecture on Windows, also called Windows on ARM. So let's power it up. We do not see the boot logo because this machine outputs the boot logo only on the display port, and the display port is not playing nice with the main capture card, so we have to wait until Windows boots and initializes the USB-C output. There it is. So here we can see it's asking for language. It doesn't have many options. It's not solving all the words, so I suppose that's the only option that are available. I don't care about English. Instead, I always install English. So my country region, at least I can pick any country here. On the keyboard layout as well, I can pick anyone, so I will pick mine. That's Spanish. I don't want to add a second layout now. This is a standard Windows 11 stuff or Windows 10 stuff when you're installing any computer. It's connected to a gigabit network, so any download should be as fast as possible. So 1 gigabit symmetrical fiber connection. Sorry. I think it's rebooting now. It doesn't do any beep or anything like that like a PC. So I'm really not sure. But I think so. Welcome, thank you for the following, Federico. Here we are again. Okay, it's set up for personal use. I hope it doesn't force me to use a Windows account. I think it will do. The problem with the Windows account, it just creates a crazy username. So yeah, it seems that I have to do it one way or another. I cannot exit from this. Come on. Okay, man. Let's authenticate it. But it will create that crazy username on the hard disk on the folder, and that's stupid. So just take the first part of the name, so just Clownia, but no, it does something like Clownia at Clowny for some reason. You see now. I don't want to restore from anyone. This is an installation. I force it to create a ping. So just one ping here. For now, it feels like any other Windows machine I had to install. Doesn't feel any different, faster or slower, or anything like that. Okay, yes, is the. What's hard in my eyes is the, well, besides the new light, I have a new face light here, so you can see my face better. I don't know why you would want that, but okay. But the light theme, I think one of the first options Windows should allow to pick is light or dark theme. So yeah, include optional because I'm a developer and I like to see the diagnostic data from my users, so why not send it to my fellow developers at Microsoft? That, by the way, I should say a disclaimer, I'm a Microsoft employee, anything I say in this video is my own personal opinion. I think that's valid. Well, I wanted to pick no on the presentation ID. That doesn't matter much. So this is a standard Windows. He's asking things that, yeah, no, I mean, gaming and so on is not what I'm going to do. Indeed, this is nothing like what developers do. I mean, I suppose developers game and so on, but there's no software development option here. So just skip, I don't care. I'm really worried this is going to have a lot of, no Android phone here. It's going to have a lot of updates. So yeah, this string is going to take a long. So, okay, OneDrive now. This is standard Windows thing, selling me OneDrive, selling me Microsoft Office. I already have them. Thank you very much. Checking for updates again. A standard Windows installation for now. There's nothing different here. Now might take a few minutes. Okay. Let's take a few minutes. Come on. So yeah, I'm really confused because I tried a DisplayPort to HDMI cable and display no output. I think I tried on several monitors and so on. I think that the cable is maybe a passive one because DisplayPort with certain pins shorted and electrical thingies connections, it can tell the DisplayPort emitter, the DisplayPort send to send an HDMI signal. Maybe so the cable that I bought is a passive one from DisplayPort to HDMI, and this machine doesn't do that on passive because, you know, it's not really a display port. It's the same motherboard as the Surface, so it's embedded display port. So maybe the embedded display port controller here doesn't support that output. So no output screen. Oh yeah, light. Oh, come on. So let's see. So okay. So it has a lot of taking, and this is the first time I see this icon with a padlock and lock it. What does that mean? Yeah, everything here. So it's a Kioxia one, a Kioxia SSD, not a bad one. No, I'll show you what I said. See, oh, with the clown. So not clown, a clown for some stupid reason, and it's so hard to change that. Really hard. So now it's copying the scenes from desktop that are shortcuts to things I don't have installed here. So, okay, OneDrive, can you please stop doing anything? Like, please not. So these are the folders I have on OneDrive, and it seems that it's not automatically save screenshots and blah blah blah. So stop, stop, stop. Yeah, this is just I clicked the wrong thing on the installation. This. Okay, now clean one again. So we should start with going to settings and looking at some of the characteristics here in about. So we see a Snapdragon compute platform. It doesn't tell the exact CPU here. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and here Windows 11 Pro, device manager. So let's open everything up. So see what devices do we have here. So this is the monitor, yeah. Facial recognition software device. There's no biometric anything here, so this is another proof that this is the Surface motherboard. Integrated Bluetooth, the Kioxia SSD, Qualcomm Adreno 8CX Gen 3, so the display adapters that's integrated in the system on chip CPU tells us the exact model name. Nothing interesting here in my interface devices. On firmware we see the firmware updated for the SSD, keyboards, mouse, nothing. My monitor here as well. Oh, so the audio output is my monitor. Yeah. Nice. It has a refresh. So there is a UART somewhere on the motherboard that's unused. There's not connected to anything. So Qualcomm Wi-Fi 6E. Excellent. So not just Wi-Fi 6. Qualcomm acoustic. Okay. I see what you did there, Qualcomm. ACPI. A lot of I2C boost, IMMU, anything. Now we have two controllers, two USB-C controllers from Qualcomm, two USB-free controllers from Synopsys. USB-C here. Okay, so let's change this to the dark. Oh, this one is much better. Now, what do we have here? So is this working? Yep, it's working. Here we have Ethernet, gigabit, okay. And let's start with downloading a lot of apps. Yes, please. Okay, this is just a standard Microsoft Edge. So let's start with Visual Studio. This is Studio Enterprise. And some JetBrains as well. It's now taking everything I have on Edge. Thank you very much. Come on, leave me alone. So we can see here that JetBrains is telling us to download an exe for Windows and then two different MacOS, one from Apple Silicon, one from Intel, but there's no Windows on ARM. This is precisely the reason this exists, this machine, so we can have things for ARM. Developers can now make things for ARM. The JetBrains toolbox will be a very fast install. You can see also here that we have program files that I suppose is for 64-bit something, but 64-bit ARM or 64-bit Intel, because here we have ARM, and then here we have 886, that's for 32-bit. That's strange. So let's see. I want to have the task manager. Unpin it, please. The details. So we can see now on the here the most of things are running on ARM86. Edge is running on ARM6486. Sorry, ARM64, and the installers I have downloaded are not. And the Office click to run is not either, but just leave me alone. I think it has not really set it to dark. To another mode, system wide. I'm on. Oh yeah, it's dark mode. So allow on private networks. I don't know why always this Windows Defender message picks public network by default. So toolbox app. Help JetBrains. Dark. And yes, let's log in. I have just clicked login. Come on. Open. Login. Okay, login now. Okay, so now let's say install this and this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and the Reserper tools. I just wait until I have installed Visual Studio. Now for Visual Studio, what do I want? Well, almost everything. So, okay. It doesn't seem to have all options that they have on, or is it just me? Let's see the individual components, see this has any difference against normal. So .NET 7, SQL Server, Git for Windows, this is very important. I don't know why it's not picked up. Most of these things I will not install now, so it takes a little less. The default for C and C++, I'm not going to test anything bigger that needs more than that. But yeah, I feel that there are themes missing here. So just install while downloading. This is going to take a little, and then so I wanted to get CPU set. GPU set. And Union. Well, no, yes, here, benchmarks. I want superposition and valid. This is just benchmark. I have used it on my machines for years and years and years. So I want to know how they just compare. I don't know, the speed looks very well. I'm going to do some speed test now. But you know, speed test doesn't always tell the real picture. Well, not now, when Visual Studio has finished downloading. But speed test doesn't always tell the real picture, so yes, doesn't matter. The only thing happening is downloading since that the smart screen is just running. Now let's see how its performance going now. Full full performance. Yeah. So we can see now it's about half a gigabit, so sustain it, just installing things, that's very well. This is this, not getting much fast now. Memory is okay, but the CPU is really, really taking up. So there are 8 cores, and it's full now. What's making you be full? Microsoft Edge. Should be closed. Why is Microsoft? What? Visual Studio Installer is Microsoft Edge? Okay, I suppose so. Now let's get this down. So I got 2 valleys and 2 superposition open. So let's just install them. I don't know why GPU set is not loading or anything. Strange, doesn't even have an icon. No, it got an icon. Okay. So you may ask why if I said I'm not going to do as anyone else that just tested games, I'm going to use this benchmark because, you know, developers do games. Developers not only playing games, we do games. Not myself, I'm not much of a game developer. So knowing a little how powerful this is useful. So here we have a problem. Here we have a problem. Right now, this component of JetBrains Rider has crashed. If I click apply, I just keep getting the same crash. Okay. GPU seed just open. But JetBrains has installed everything. Okay. And it has installed everything on release candidate except for WebStorm, and that's strange. We will see it has something to do with being on ARM. Maybe it has installed release candidates because previous versions could not run on ARM machines, or no, they are native on ARM instead of emulation. So you see it is installing, or should be, and Unigine Superposition is installing, and Visual Studio is installing. I will launch this later. Let's see if there is any update out of the box. A few ones. Realtek from Lego. So these ones will not take much to download and install. So just let them download second on background while everything else is installing. It's already okay. This is a smart screen today is behaving strange, not only on this computer, also on the computer is for streaming. Yes, I was trying to update some OBS plugins. I was doing some crazy things. Now I'm going to power the camera for a few minutes while this finish installing, because I don't think you really want to me just looking at the screen with their eyes. But as it finishes, I come back and I'll continue testing everything. Well, I don't know what this feature is, but it's taking a lot of time to install it. And it's just having practically no activity on the SSD. But I suppose it's normal, there's some activity on the CPU here. Not very multi-threaded activity. The memory consumption is really good, like 32 gigabytes. We don't even have 30% of the memory used. But this is just getting some spikes and installing this feature, whatever it is. I told you this was going to be a very boring stream. So if you're still here, thank you very much. And don't forget to follow me here on Twitch and also subscribe on my YouTube. Thank you. Well, just in time. Needed to restart, but since that the updates also need to restart, so restart. When it restarts, I'm just going to eat some gummy candies. Hello, Treji. No gummy bears for you. I just finished them all. Sorry. Updates, updates, updates. You want to see me looking at updates? No, I don't want to see me looking at updates. I'll come back when updates are finished. Well, this is interesting and not necessarily in the good sense. It's updating, but I can't see anything. I think that maybe the updates just doing using only the display port output. This is bad. So if you're a developer and thinking on buying one, you really need a display port display, because it seems that most adapters are not going to work well, and yeah, USB-C you don't even see what's doing. I see if I press the lamp lock on the keyboard, it takes about 5 seconds to update, but it updates, so I'm supposing this is just on the Windows Update screen pre-loading the driver itself, the display driver, but it's not very user-friendly. Again, this is a machine designed for developers, so there are some things that can be done, but yeah, you need a display for the screen to use this. So you can look at me looking at no video, or you can look at no video only. I don't know what you prefer. You can just keep talking about things. But yeah, I hope. I hate when computers stop having a activity indicator light, so I don't know what it's doing. It has the power light on, but no screen. It's doing anything. You just crash it. What is it doing? Yeah, this is an error. It's not answering on the nick word for pings. But again, non-block works. So I suppose just have patience. We know how Windows updates can take some time, but not having a display out and USB-C is not a good thing. And that this cable doesn't work is also a bad thing. So since the only DisplayPort or DisplayPort cables may work. Just looking at the machine, it's doing nothing. The light just on. The keyboard has not been reset, so I suppose the computer has not rebooted more than once when we lost video. Now it has rebooted. So the light is on. Just power up the USB ports now. On boot mode. Now power them up properly. I suppose we will see the screen now, or just again it's updating on the background with. Okay, there you saw something. Here's the, so it was updating. So if you don't have a DisplayPort screen and use the USB-C out, you can just be sure that when this happens, just have patience. Yeah, keep the computer, your computer on. That's important. So if you don't have patience and power it down, you will not have the update. It will roll back. I was doing it properly. And it's finished. Excellent. So now we can start testing. I will start with the video benchmarks. Then I will take a look at CPU set and GPU set. And then we'll test proper development. So the value benchmark, it has three modes: DirectX 9, OpenGL, and DirectX 11. So these are very different APIs that depend a lot on the drivers. So I will start testing OpenGL here, the quality to ultra, single monitor until it's into 4x, because I cannot compare with the M1. This application on the M1 with 8x doesn't run properly. 1920 by 1080. Unless just run it. I'm not expecting much really from a Qualcomm graphics card, but maybe I get a surprise. And it has crashed. So there's no OpenGL for Valley. And then let's try DirectX 9. Well, let's see if it really crashed, but I think so. Yeah, it's not running. Let's try with DirectX 9. This application is not ported to ARM and is really old, so the latest update was from 2013. So I'm seeing an FPS counter on the right hand up, but see no image now. Okay, now we see it. And you can listen to it as well. Probably you can listen to it over my voice because I have disabled the key. So let's just start the benchmark and let it run. I will put off the camera and my microphone so you can enjoy the benchmark. So I can tell you now from a quick look that the score I'm getting here is lower than any of the other computers I have. It's lower than the Mac Mini M1 that got 1000 or 1141 score, and everything else, average FPS, mean FPS, Mac FPS, M1 was better using OpenGL. So now I'll try with DirectX 11 to see if we get some more performance out of this. Because probably these graphics cards are also not optimizing for DirectX 9. I don't think it's optimizing for any DirectX. And just taking note of the FPS in the next test. And let's pick DirectX 11. See if it doesn't give any problem like OpenGL that just crashed on us. I'm seeing the FPS counter, so let it load. Okay, the benchmark. Can see that we have no improvements. Indeed, we have the same exact score, and this is not normal. On any other graphics card, Nvidia, AMD, you see an improvement when moving from DirectX 9 to DirectX 11. And the only computer I had tested on this benchmark, Unity Valley, that is slower than this one, was integrated graphics. So these graphics are faster than integrated Intel or AMD graphics, but they're certainly slower than Apple's M1 and much slower than Apple's M1 Max. So let's try the other Unity benchmark. Let's close this, we don't need now. So let's try superposition. This is a much more complex benchmark. I have not got a stable 60 FPS from this benchmark, not even running on a not even running on a GeForce 3060. So it's very intensive engine. And it doesn't even seem to load. So I'm looking here, and that's a problem with some applications on the emulation, because applications that are not designed for ARM and just running on emulator, that sometimes they just don't work at all. So here we can see that there's no superposition benchmark. Just crashes. It starts loading and something made it crash. So let's move to the next thing. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to clone my main open source application. That's Aru. It's an application for the preservation of computer media, like games, CDs, DVDs, cartridges, and floppies, etc. So it's not a huge application, but it's big enough that it takes more than a few seconds to compile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile it on the command line, and then, oh, sorry, I forgot to use recursive. This is useless. So I was saying I'm going to compile it on the command line, and then I'm going to compile it on Visual Studio, and then going to compile it on JetBrains. Come on, Git. If you know it's 2 dashes, why don't you just do it? Now this is going to take a little more because of all of the submodules. It's cloning quite fast. I've seen better computers that take a lot much power cloning slower. Let's put a bit of brief here with the CPU threads utilization. Says the base speed is 3 gigahertz, but I have not yet seen a 3 gigahertz. It's always slower. It's warm to the touch, but not much. I can hear it at all, so I think it has a fan, but I can't hear it at all. Okay, so it's cloned. I'm going to make a copy of it. This way we can also see some speed of the SSD. Okay, this is no problem. This is copying fast enough. And why I'm making a copy? Well, first of all, because there's a NuGet cache. I don't remember the pronunciation. Okay, there's a NuGet cache on the computer. So the first build is going to take longer because it's going to restore all packages and then store in the cache. And the next builds, we just take them from the cache. So if we just trade now and then trade on Visual Studio is going to be faster because it doesn't have to download anything from NuGet. It's on the cache. So I'm just going to do, let's check if this is net 7. Okay, so I'm just going to build it now without measuring the time. I don't care, because what I want is to just get everything from the NuGet and store in the cache. So this time is not important now. This is not a measure of how fast it is. See, restoring is taking a lot. It's not even building. Now it started some building, but still there's a lot of restoring. 9 seconds, just 20 seconds to restore is just getting the NuGet packages and putting them in the cache. Now it's really compiling. Oh, it's nice that the background changes. I didn't know this theme did that. You can see now it's pretty used, the CPU 2.8 GHz, but still not 3 GHz. Okay, now it has everything on the cache. I'm just going to move this for what happened. Okay, that's Explorer doing its thing. They're going to take so long to move on to the recycle bin and just remove everything. Now I'm going to make 3 copies. So one for building the command line, another for building on Visual Studio. Come on, come on, come on. And then just another for building on Rider, on JetBrains Rider. That will probably also take some time to open. I have not installed ReSharper because ReSharper can make the Visual Studio performance go low. So first I will try Visual Studio without ReSharper and then install ReSharper and see how the performance goes, not compiling, but using it properly. So now we have both copies. Autocomplete from PowerShell is not on my friend list. I hope this works. It doesn't tell me don't net on phone because I don't understand PowerShell. I am mostly a Linux user and I prefer Bash, but suppose it's doing something now. Oh yeah, since that measure command just takes the input of the, so we will not see the output of the build. It's building, but measure commands traps the output of the command. I don't know why, but okay, just don't think about it. But we can see it's compiling because the CPU usage has just gone up crazily. And it has taken 59 seconds and 731 milliseconds. Okay, that's good. Now let's open Visual Studio. All of these things here are not needed now. Visual Studio 2022. You can see that Visual Studio doesn't appear here on 86 or 64 because it is on ARM 64. So my colleagues at the Visual Studio for Windows team finished it working on ARM 64 and it's amazing. It goes much faster than before. Just skip this for now. dark, Visual C sharp. It's going to take my settings from the profile later on. The DevEnv Visual Studio is running on ARM64. That's amazing. The performance advantage of porting the applications to ARM can make this look like a more powerful Intel or AMD processor, like one that requires a lot more power to work. So that's the reason of existing again of this machine, is for developers to port applications to Windows on ARM. So we can have faster application, we don't need to use emulation. Let's just open the solution. So it's open, snappy, good, fast. So that has taken a little more than I would have liked to. But there is still things being done on the background. So if we saw here, we see that Visual Studio is still doing a lot of things. So let's set it now. Rosling is analyzing. Well, if you're analyzing this, you're going to take a lot of time. So, okay, let's just Rosling settling. So it's showing a lot of errors. I suppose that's because it's still loading everything. So it's okay, loading projects. A lot of background processes. I say this project is not huge, but it's big enough to show a difference in performance. Obviously, on the command line, we don't have IntelliSense, we don't have Rosling analyzers running, so everything goes faster, but that's only for compiling. You're not really working on the command line. Or maybe you are using B or Nano or Emacs, and I don't know why. I mean, I respect you, I just don't know why. So it has settled out. There's nothing here taking just either process. Let's go here to the performance again. We see that the graphs have down. So let's just build the solution. There was a build window. I just leave it alone. There was the build window. So you can see everything is snappy and fast, like while it's compiling. So okay, here build. No, that's the toolbar. That doesn't matter. Obviously, it's taking longer to compile, but that's not what we're comparing. We're seeing if it's fast enough for working. It's not going to be faster than a Threadripper or a Xeon with 120 cores. Obviously, it's not going to be faster. It's also cheaper and takes much less electricity. But the thing is this fast enough so I can work with it? And I can, right now on Visual Studio, I don't see why not. We'll try to do some code with Resharp install later because, you know, Resharper can make things go a little crazy. But it's very useful extension for me. I just love it. But I don't see anything here that I'm just browsing everything and okay, here up. And he's compiling and I don't see any problem. It's taking long on the command line, but that's normal. If you want to be faster, just build on the command line, but then you're not editing or debugging or anything like that. Or you are. Again, I don't care. You use Bing, Nano, Max, whatever. So it has taken literally twice the time, 1 minute and 33 seconds instead of 59 seconds. But it has been fast enough. I had a small laptop about a year ago and it had an Intel Atom and oh goddess, that was slow. That took like 10 minutes to compile Aru. It was an Intel Atom and one of the latest model of Intel Atom and take less power than this, but it's just not. This is working good, well enough on Visual Studio. No complaints here. So let's install the Reserper tools. Maybe they don't work if they're not prepared for ARM, because this is Visual Studio for ARM and the extensions need to be ported as well. Come on, finish installing. While it Reserper tools install, I'm going to clone another project. It's a C project. It's not a big project. It is very, very small. But the thing is that it has some tests that do some compression algorithms, and those tests can run very slow, especially if it doesn't compile with the proper optimizations. Also, I'm curious to see if you can just take a C project, open it on C Lion or on Visual Studio, and it's going to automatically set up the ARM compiler or not. So this is the aru.compression.native. Oh, this should also be recursive. So this is a new thing that Aru 6 will integrate as native code for compilers. I have spoke a little on the blog about them, and will speak more as Aru 6 development continues. This is making everything go faster. Right now the Aru 6 alpha is about 30% faster than Aru 5. I'm going to clone it again in another folder because I'm going to try one with Visual Studio and one with C Lion. Okay, so the Reserper tools are installed. Seems that they have installed in Visual Studio Enterprise 2022. Question is, have they really run on ARM? If so, JetBrains, you're amazing. So let's just open Rider. Always asking the same to allow on public networks and not on private networks. That's crazy. It's like, yeah, block on private and allow on public. That's what they want. No, obviously, no. So, okay, desktop, the second copy we made, and the solution is here. Yeah, I trust it. I trust the project. And it's connecting to Reserper host and so on. Now, is it running on ARM or is it running on emulation? It's running on ARM. That's probably why it didn't install any stable version, because you can see that the toolbox is running on Intel emulation. So what do we have? Your phone running on Intel emulation, and this is Office installer. I need to remove it. And it's called MS Build for emulated MS Build Rider. That's strange. But yeah, okay. So we still have here the FM. So most of the application running here right now are already ported to ARM, and that's amazing. That means they're much faster. So let's go back to the performance here. So Rider is still processing files. Let it settle. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, it has settled. So let's just build solution. It is just invoking MS build, so it's probably going to take more or less the same as MS build. So we can see now that MS build is not on the... it's on ARM, everything is running on ARM, except for Git. Git is being called because I have Aru has a extension node, a package that updates the version depending on the Git commit number. I'm surprised that Git is not ported to ARM. I think the build time is going to be more or less the same as Visual Studio for Windows. Not the same as just doing the command line. Yeah, build succeeded at, but I want to know how long it took. Why don't you tell me how long it took? Terminal problems, Git, nothing. I just want to see the output log. No, here. The output log. No. Okay, open log. Right. So build started at 2033. Then it lasted 1 minute, so it took more or less the same as the command line. Oh, look. It has detected my plugins. Okay, not now. Let's go and see what happens if I open the C project on Visual Studio. It's going to compile for ARM. It's going to compile for Intel, for AMD. What are you going to do? Also, it's going to work. Because that's also one thing. It's not the same CSR. You just run it and it mostly works. Mostly. Unless you do something crazy. It's not CPU dependent. So it will compile for ARM and will compile for Intel depending on what do you want to. But for... I think it was open a folder. But for C it's completely different. So let's open here. We see ReSharper. Come on, I have the account. Login again. You can close this. So CMake started for configuration x66. x64. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. So by default, it's taking the configuration I had. So manage configurations. Let's create a configuration for ARM, so it's not automatic. What? Okay, let's create an ARM64, the pack. Sorry, release. Let's save it. Now it's detecting it as ARM. So processor architecture ARM64. Let's Visual C and finding some things, not finding others. Will you finish it now? CMake. Still preparing the project. What are you doing? Oh, come on. Finish already. Okay, CMake finished. So let's see at the log of CMake. So compiler host 886. Okay, this is a something. So it seems that if you by default on CMake just create this, it's going to run the compiler emulated. Now the question is, do we have a native compiler? I think so. So this should be considered a bug? Probably. Yeah, we have host ARM64. So we should use host ARM64. Let me see if I can edit the configuration here. What are you doing here? Advanced settings. If I can change the compiler from here. Not easily. So seems to be some default from Ninja or from CMake. But the thing is that the compiler is going to run emulated. Okay, no, here I can change it. So you manually need to change it if you're executing it on ARM. And this also has a problem. So I understand that the default will be here because this is safe on this. So this is safe on this file. So if I change it and then open this project on our Intel or AMD machine, it's not going to work. So I understand this default, but I should give you the option to do it. Or if you want, you just create another target and you say, okay, I'm running on ARM, so compile on ARM. Because I say this is not a big project to compile. But you try to compile a big project, you're running, sorry, and you're running an emulated compiler, it's going to be slower. So you will not see an advantage of having Visual Studio on ARM if you're using the emulated compiler. So let's just finish it and select the startup item. Why don't you give me a startup item? Where's the Google tests startup item? Let's this finish. Have you finished already? It's not showing me the target to run it. Showing me a lot of details and things, and maybe I need to compile it first. Just let's build it and see if it builds at all. If it doesn't build, yeah, sure. No such version. So this may be my problem. It should have included. So we have no luck running it on Visual Studio for now, but this can just be my problem. So don't think this is a problem of Visual Studio. Let's try Sea Lion. JetBrains Toolbox is always not very snappy, so don't worry else. Again, this is crazy. Let's just open this. So there's nothing here, maybe. Okay, so this is the one that's clean. Open as project. Trust it. No, yes. I have bundled Bing GWU. For what? Is outputting what? Visual Studio, architecture. It's strange. It shows ARM64 running on emulation, ARM64 running on emulation. Doesn't make much sense. Okay, yes. Go for it. And just adding a release one and use Visual Studio. Let's see what it says on CMake here. So release Visual Studio. So the debug one is getting MinGW. That's the open source GNU C compiler ported for Windows. I think it's going to output x86 applications. Yeah, see, x86 intrinsic phone. There's so CPU architecture is not what we want, but here on the Visual Studio one, we're getting the same output as on Visual Studio. It's running emulated, so that's why AMD 64, but the platform output is ARM 64. Let's see if we can compare here, and it's not getting. Wow! Cannot get compiler information. Ah, that's Min GW. Oh, come on. You worried me for a second. So everything seems right now working on CMake. There's no Python installed. So this I will have to revisit the Visual Studio installer. So updating the indexes, it should have detected visit2 properly. So it's not complaining about BC version. Again, this is okay. This is just my problem. When I copied things here from bzip, I may not have output it properly. It should. It's saying here configure and so on, but it's not doing it. Indeed, I don't see the. Okay, here bzip2. I don't know why it's not creating it. So this is again just my problem of my application. I will not. This is not going to be going to complain about that, and we'll have to see. Just complaining that I cannot find this. Fine. Stupid. Should have taken it from this and created, and just going to create it manually, and then we can try it again. No. It should have the version as 1.0.7. What? Okay, yes. Dot. And now it's failing somewhere else. What? What is? Okay, this is just my fault. So how well is it working? Let's see. Is it running native? Is it running not native? Running native. Wow, 3 GB. Come on, Sila, what are you doing? So let's just try to do something proper development to say it. So just right there and get a touch of how good it is. So let's go here, here, or here. What are you talking about? Okay, yes, this. So who's using this? It's fast enough. Let's find Alusayis here. Yeah, quite fast. So the syntax coloring, the rustling, the everything here is running fast. So let's just do a refactor here. Okay, then yeah, we have an error, so let's undo it. Excellent. So what if I do now? Console.line. Yeah, yes. This is not proper code. Get values as an line type. If short. What? Nothing convertible system.enum. This convertible system.enum. So I could just do that. No. Yeah, it just works properly. That's new. Yep. Detected the error. Yes. This works very well. So now let's take a peek at the CPU seat and GPU seat. Now we have finished everything here. Just let's remove this and I will look what's happening with this later on. Yeah, no, there are a lot of items, but finish removing them now. So GPU seat first. Will probably not know what to tell me if it's even running. I don't think it is. Okay, couldn't start driver. The driver has been blocked for nothing. Okay, there's no driver, obviously. So this is something the GPU see that's an application. You will think it will work. I mean, if emulation, you can see it's x86. It's not working. Why is it not working? Because it needs to load a driver. So this is one of the problems. If drivers are not ported, they just don't work. There's an emulation for drivers. So this application is a driver and doesn't work. You could also see that superposition crashes. So now if we look at CPU set, error code occurred during initialization. So, but are you going to continue loading? Yeah, at least it has some support for ARM processors. It detecting that it's a Snapdragon and showing, but it's still running under emulation. So running under emulation is detecting. So that's not bad. My mainboard memory. There's no SPD about the memory. Graphics Adreno. Benchmark. So bench the CPU. The benchmark is going to run on. Yeah. How long is this supposed to work until? Yes. Wow. That's not a fair comparison. None of these are fair comparisons. Like, really, that's not a fair comparison. Okay, doesn't matter. Check for driver updates. Yeah, no. Don't do that. Save BIOS. This is text file. Save video BIOS. What was these text files? What are these text files? That's pretty stupid. CPU set for Windows 95. What? Okay. Okay, so conclusions here before if you're watching this video on YouTube, you're probably not hearing this. On YouTube, I will open it. But conclusions here, what can I say? This is good enough. For the price, I don't think it's too expensive comparing the hardware with other solutions. Okay, you can buy a Raspberry Pi and try to install Windows 11, but that's not supported. Most of things don't work, and it's as slow as snails. But this one is fast, it's snappy. There are some applications that don't work, some applications that do, but the big things that the development environments that, because remember, this is target for developers, not for customers. They work. Other people have tested some games, they work. You've seen Ballet, it works. Not very fast, but that's expected because they're running on emulation. However, if you're a game developer, you know that sometimes you have to target lesser hardware. At least now you have a machine that's not too expensive, and it's a very small machine. It's like this size, more or less, and you can use it. Then I'm going to power it off and disconnect it so I can show it to you on the webcam. Come on. Turn off that light, tell me that you power off. Do you really power off? Or just entered some sleep, strange sleep mode? Okay, now it's power. So, this is it. This is the size. It's more or less the same as an A5 notebook. You can see the size. And yeah, I think I say that for development is a very good idea. So you can develop and test your applications on ARM processors and using ARM graphics. But still, it's like one or two generations before we see a proper consumer product. This is the same hardware as the Surface. It's not a gaming machine. A lot of people will complain. It's fast enough for using Office, the browser, and that kind of things. But you know, people always want faster things. But I don't think it will be. I mean, if I had a Surface with this motherboard, the latest ARM Surface, I will not complain. I will not complain with my ARM laptop. It works. Everything's snappy. You can develop it very well, and for 700 euros, more or less, is yeah, 69, 699 euros. I think in Europe, and I don't know in the rest of the world, but it's not expensive for what it is. I think it's worth the cost for its function. That is a developer box, a box for developers to make applications and ensure that they run on ARM64 architecture. This is a good machine for that. For daily use, it depends. We play videos on YouTube? Yes. We will play games? Yes. Slower resolutions and slower frame rates, but it will play games. Some application will just not work, other will work better, but it's a developer machine. The idea is that you run Visual Studio, Code, JetBrains, whatever your favorite ID to develop, not for any other architecture, not for Android, not for iOS. It's not designed to develop for other architecture. It's designed to develop for this architecture. So in the next generation, on the generation after that, we can have native applications that run very fast. And with this, I finish the stream. And thanks for watching. I hope it has not been as boring as I suppose. But Visual Studio Installer is just, there's a lot of things to install. It takes a lot of time. So you have down the nicknames where you can find me on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch. Even if Twitter since dying. But okay, please don't forget to follow me here and subscribe on YouTube. So you will be notified when I output the video on YouTube that I hope is at the end of this week with the showing it unboxing and also opening it and snippets on this video so you don't have to watch all of this on video on demand and see Visual Studio just to see the important parts. Have a nice night and goodbye.